Want to dominate the gaming world? Join the ranks of dedicated gamers. Subscribe and conquer.
Gets can make his OD impression.
Hello, Avery.
Oh,
Hey, how's this?
that's pretty damn good.
Well, let's get on with the action then. Betboom versus PSG.LGD. My man, these
highly impressed right now.
Oh, it's, hours of practice. Hours of consuming lots of OD Pixel content, a little bit too much, if I'm to be honest with you. But we're here today, Betboom versus PSG.LGD.
Oh,
Avery,
yes.
this game, this series, it should be phenomenal, right? This tournament so far, both of these teams, they've been stepping it up more than ever. They're being consistent, and now getting to see them go head-to-head with these two lineups. What are you expecting, Avery?
I mean, these are the two best teams of the tournament, hands down, right? They have gaming waiting for them, but this is already off to the bloodfest that I expect because Betboom, they have slowly been getting better over the course of the tournament. I feel like every game I watch them, it's a bit more convincing. They're getting less of that throwing nature that they had at some of the past tournaments out of the way, and they're becoming a bit more consistent, flowing into some of their staple picks here. I mean, the GPK Necro, that's what the K stands for, the Necro there, of course, and LGD, they have a lot of draft flex. Thinking about that. They have a lot of draft flexibility. That's what I love about this team. They're willing to pick pretty much anything for new and believe that this guy is eventually going to pop off in the game.
And what do you think of the pick for Neo this game, getting that Visage into towards the end of the draft? What does this sort of say to you in terms of what PSG.LGD want to do this game? You know, what are they focused on primarily with this sort of lineup?
I mean, they definitely wanted to control the tempo. They don't want to let Betboom get ahead here because they had a first-phase Phantom Lancer. If you're going to first-phase Phantom Lancer, you want this game to go late. You want to get the Morphling matchup to a point where he can't fight you back. I think Visage is just here to make sure your towers don't fall. At least you get objective trades, and then you have some auras for the fight. Right? If your PL has a rough start, if he falls behind on net worth, at least if you buff him up with the auras, then maybe you can take the man fight. And then you're feeling good. Because you need a pipe in this game versus the Necrophos and the Tide. You probably need at least one of the aura between like the Bongo Boots or Greaves or something. Then you're feeling good about your Ember and your PL taking these man fights versus the Necro, because the Ember is going to have a rough lane. Sure. I say that, but he's actually only...
It's not bad so far, right?
Yeah,
even on the CS, 9-1 for 9-1. And in terms of like when PSG.LGD are going to be turning up to these fights and bringing the action, I feel, you know, Betboom, their lineup, they've got great ways to respond, right? If they sort of sit there, present themselves in front of towers around the Tide Hunter, the Necrophos, there could be points of the game, right, where PSG.LGD might struggle to find the damage, or do you think they'll be fine despite the beefiness of some of Betboom's heroes?
I think as the game goes later, they're going to be happier cutting through it. You have a Dying Amp, you have a Skywrath Amp, so you have two ways to buff up the spell damage here. I always kind of believe Visage becomes one of those late-game offlaners that does the most damage in the fights. And the way New is probably going to itemize it, in the other Visage game, he ended up going AC later on, which I really liked. Would not be surprised to see something similar here and just ramp up that physical damage. This hero's universal now. The right clicks, they're going to be popping.
Excellent scalability from Visage. And as you say, in the hands of someone like New, who's not afraid to bring this sort of hero out, it could be deadly for Betboom.
I gotta say, Jenkins, you're not only are you nailing the OD impression, the analysis is really stepped up here, you know.
Gosh, you know, he's so smart, you know. When I'm doing the impression, I've got to make sure I keep up with the caliber that he normally brings.
I respect that. Absolutely respect it.
So this mid lane, are we going to start to see it get a bit tougher for the Ember as the levels begin to come in, or you feel like Nothing to Say is going to be able to keep up as he has so far?
I'm surprised he's doing as well as he is so far. I expect this to get tougher. I mean, usually if you're Necro, you want to pull ahead in the regen. Even if the CS is even, you should be draining NTS's resources dry, shoving the wave and getting to that level 6 first. The fact NTS is completely even is why we saw LGD first phasing the Ember versus unfavorable matchups like the Timber in the first place. If he has this good a lane phase, it bodes really well for LGD going into that early mid game, because then their tempo creator is fully online. Like, the Visage is going to be behind here. His lane is a little rough. He's going to get out CS. He's not going to necessarily have super fast birds up. So you want the Ember to go in, create the space for the Skywrath Mage combination, and start proposing some threat on the board.
Yeah, and I imagine when you look at the heroes that Betboom have, it should be quite a free platform for the Ember to hop around, right? It's not going to be easy to focus and trap this Ember if Nothing to Say is playing his cards right in the early fights.
And that might just fall more to Nightfall here. Like, if he can steal Ember, turn the chains back around, throw some play to fists out, then this Morphling's going to start to feel pretty damn good for Betboom. But now GPK is starting to pull ahead a little bit, starting to push that. And this is normally when I think you want to gank NTS if you have the capability. Would not be surprised to see Toronto Tokyo try and commit a charge towards mid, but this is a hard hero to charge. Yeah. Maybe he feels like the connection isn't there, but the level 5 to 6 is going to come online for GPK here, and you really want that Reaper kill.
Yeah, you can feel that Nothing to Say is maybe going to try and bait a little bit. He's got the fact that the stick charges are building up, 8 stick charges and a Fairy Fire. Could be enough to sort of play into the hands of an overly zealous dive coming in from Betboom that can be responded to with a backup TP from PSG.LGD.
I mean, the only question is, what is GPK going to buy? Is it going to be Blade Mail? Is it going to be Radiance? Is it going to be Midas?
What do you sort of feel tends to work the best? And in sort of what different situations do you lead either way? Is it sort of just down to how good your mid game, your mid matchup is going? Are you sort of looking at the other lanes and feeling like, what do I have to do as a Necrophos mid this game to keep everything in a good position for the rest of my cores?
I mean, I think his job is basically to shut down Phantom Lancer. So whatever itemization he feels like is going to slow down the peel in the fights the most, he's probably going to go for here. So that's probably Radiance and at some point Shiva's Guard, but he might do that Blade Mail in between.
Good backup here from Toronto Tokyo. Planet came in with a rotation, but TP's coming from Betboom. They turn it around, and GPK is set up to take Nothing to Say down.
Didn't even need the Scythe. He gets to save that for another day and maybe another NTS life. This is perfect timing for Betboom. I mean,
Planet's got to be careful. If they come back in with a charge...
Yeah, this is a super high threat on the board right now. And I would not be surprised to see Betboom linger around here and just kill NTS again when he comes back in. I think LGD are worried about this. There's not a lot of side lane pressure to draw Betboom off of this middle lane right now, and they are staying there. NTS.
Let's have a look. I mean, both supports for PSG.LGD coming in as well.
Yeah, you have Catapult Wave too. This is lining up really nice. He's still half a level off 6 here for the Ember. Save's
going to be able to grab the power rune as well. Haste rune onto him, so that will help him with a potential for diving. But you see Nothing to Say. He's playing very safe, keeping himself beyond the tier 1 tower and not in a spot where Betboom will be able to make that jump. So back to the side lanes they go, the supports. On the river, Toronto Tokyo.
Wants a little blood action here if you can get it. The bash!
That'll do it.
Of course, of course. That's what the winning TI does for you. You get the better RNG upgrades.
Some good couple of kills early. I mean, we're already seeing it sort of show in the gold lead. Just 6 minutes in and already 2k gold advantage for Betboom in this early game.
Their lanes are definitely stronger, so I expect them to have this sort of start here. They've also shown they are a lane-dominating team at this tournament. I think only Gaming is as strong in the early laning phase. Definitely not LGD strength. They're like the 15 to 30 minute mark.
There's aggression here. I mean, TP responses are definitely going to be coming in from PSG.LGD. Aggressive play here from the Morph, trying to go in for Neo. The Ancient steals there, Nightfall. He's building up the strength, but he's only got so much to build up, and with the TPs coming in, he'll get chased down. He'll turn with one final adaptive strike, but he is gone. PSG.LGD, they'll shut down Betboom's aggression around the tier 1.
The one thing I like about that is at least you get the Wisdom Rune. Like, Toronto Tokyo is going for this play because he just wants to create some diversion, then you get double Wisdom for Betboom here, so that's pretty nice. I mean, I don't know if Nightfall feels too bad about it, but that is a big kill to give to the Visage, who was really struggling down there in the one-on-one. Like I was saying, these side lanes for LGD are a problem right now. The next 3 minutes especially, if you decide to linger, you are just getting your ass.
I mean, Shiro, he's just straight up dead here. Pure and save. Just run him out of the lane. I mean, a great awareness there to abuse the fact that, of course, earlier the TP's coming in from PSG.LGD supports, taking them down bottom. They knew there was no one. There was going to be no help for that poor old PL.
The only person who can respond in this LGD draft is NTS. And he had probably the worst lane matchup that he somehow did the best in. But it's still a bad one, so he's getting his resources drained, and the levels coming in for the Betboom supports. These are aggressive supports they have liked the entire tournament. Toronto Tokyo almost level 6 and maxed bash. It's a lot of damage, but no detection.
Does get sort of knocked out just the range of the sentry that they did have on the cliffs. They won't be able to finish that kill off. Still very happy with this early portion of the game. 8 minutes in, tier 1 tower being taken down. I'll buy some time with it with the fortification, but this early lead, I mean, how as PSG.LGD do you go about slowing this down? What sort of do you look towards as being sort of the item or the level in which you can group up, maybe look to do something to catch Betboom by surprise or respond to their plays? That's bottom lane. The kills, they just continue to keep coming in for Betboom. They take out Planet, they take out a Tombstone. The gold for Betboom, it continues to skyrocket.
The reverse Tombstone value. Not what you want to see here if you're LGD. I feel like it has to be getting U6 here. Like, you need birds up. You need to combine the Visage and the Ember and get at least one of these cores off the lane for Betboom. It's either the Morph or the Necro. It's just going to require a lot of numbers at this point. You also don't have those support ultis, which is all your damage in the early game.
They're going to go again, and now with the level 6 on Toronto Tokyo, they've got the extra bit of control with the Nether Strike. Another kill to take down Neo. This lane continues to be a beautiful place for Nightfall. I mean, all 3 cores farming to their heart's content as PSG.LGD struggle to keep up.
And the early utility, it's going to come in for Betboom here. I mean, you have an Atos being built on GPK. The way Nightfall's being involved in these fights, all 3 cores for Betboom are happy to join these engagements. And finally, LGD are going to bring some numbers.
Yeah, trying to get something to happen here around Nothing to Say's Ember. Jones forward with the Remnants, closing in on to save in Toronto Tokyo. Another Remnant to help finish off the Rubik. Everybody here chasing down Toronto, Tokyo, and Nightfall. Another set of the steering changes. The Ancient Seal will do it. It's PSG.LGD able to find a bit of an opening around the power of the Ember. It's not easy considering the start that Nothing to Say has. These are difficult moves, but they get away with it. They get 2 kills.
Yeah, honestly, I've been impressed with NTS's game. Like, it doesn't look great on the net worth, but I don't know what you wanted the man to do. He was put in a rough position. Now he has to bail out his other cores. This will finally push New up to his level 6. So now you have some bursts to skirmish around, which is pretty nice. You just put him on the Rubik, put him on the Breaker in the fights. Pretty hard for Betboom to deal with unless the Tide Hunter wants to join. Pure, he's a greedy boy. He's going to continue to just farm, scale into his items. Those are the numbers LG's going to have to bring, and they're going to have to catch up on support levels here. Like, they are a long way from these support ultis because they lost the double Wisdom Rune. Just a huge disadvantage on the map right now.
And for Shiro, as a PL when you're in this sort of game, I mean, to what point are you sort of hoping that your team doesn't start losing the tier 2s? You know, when can Shiro turn up to the action? Is it sort of that second item after the defusal, or you're kind of hoping to get sort of that third major item before you're really forced to take part?
He's definitely going to hold out as long as he can before he feels like he's going to start to get flamed for the game. I think at the point he's like, all right, I can't hold off anymore. I'm going to have to join a fight because my team needs it. He will join. That's probably defusal plus Yasha or half the next item, I'd imagine.
So if they can get new here, Toronto, Tokyo, ults up, and another kill handed over to Nightfall.
And the birds.
They're just taking so much from them here. 5k lead, 11 minutes in. Betboom completely crushing the early game.
I mean, he might have to join these fights with just defusal at this rate. The issue is that's when the PL is the weakest. You're going in with 1 item and no defensibility against Necro Tide. Even the Spear Breaker charges. Rubik, stealing spells, it's a lot of AoE magic damage to pump in early. Your Visage is not giving you any aura to help you here. And this is going to be a second item, Radiance for GPK. And
yeah, it's going to be there so fast at this pace with how quickly they're taking the map objectives, and highly likely that when Shiro does turn up, he's going to have to fight into that Radiance, which is not going to be fun at all. GPK is going to just instantly destroy the army of PL illusions that try and throw themselves at him.
Just the sustain for the lineup as well. Like, if Pure decides to go back for some auras here, then you're looking at a Necro who can itemize Greedy, and he has a Tide Hunter building the 5-on-5 items to help the team as well. That Necro is going to be absurdly tanky here. Let's see what Pure decides to go for. He's looking at Blink. This is a very offensive build as well. Maybe he just wants to get the Ravage in there and start slaying the PL on the map. Yeah,
I mean, getting a Blink at this sort of pace is just, it's just going to rub salt into the wounds. You know, when you've got this sort of lead and you're just able to start off the players aggressively, it's so difficult for them to deal with. Why You Smile, it's going to get caught in the crashing down of the Meteor Hammer. Shiro's here to help push them away, though. So Why You Smile gets the chance to step back to safety, won't quite tick out to the Meteor Hammer. Pure, he'll opt for the TP out, doesn't want to stick around as Shiro begins to burn down his mana.
That's the defusal finish. I mean, on decent time for Shiro, he'll at least get some space off of this. But Pure to TP mid, he did not go to base. And this quick move from Betboom can happen back to top. It will. GPK will trade places, and they're going to kick Shiro back out of this area. They do not want to give the PL any space. This game could turn very ratty very fast. Like, you have the Ember Spirit for LGD, and this has been their #1 hero at stalling games out. This is why they like taking it up really early, because they feel like they can always get to late game if NTS is on the Ember. And like you were saying, the catch, I mean, the catch is decent in the fight, but pretty bad on the map, outside of Spear Breaker, which, I mean, good luck landing a connection here on the Ember. So, LGD, they're going to have a decent chance to stall this game out, but they really need the space to do it, which means you got to fight with your Visage. You got to get these tier 1 downs. Maybe that Tide Hunter TP to mid. Pure might be regretting it here. It's going to open up a little bit of a window if LGD just want to force down this tier 1. That Watermelon cannot get down.
See how safe Nightfall plays. Probably doesn't want to show himself. Oh, yeah, has got backup coming in. So may set them up. I mean, Nightfall, a reveal on the lane.
Yeah, this is pretty slow by LGD. I mean, Betboom has smoked their Tide all the way back down here, and he has that Blink.
I mean, you do see the response from PSG.LGD. As soon as they see Nightfall show and start to hit the creeps, they're like, all right, this lad is not on his own. We need to get out of here. So they immediately bail on this operation.
That's just more benefit for Betboom. If Nightfall can show aggressively and they get space,
he's going to lead into the high ground. He's actually able to take out one of the familiars there with the Anchor Smash. He's going to just try and set up straight away with the Meteor Hammer onto Why You Smile. Telekinesis helps keep the Undying in position. Sleight of Fist is there into the Mystic Flare. They've taken out Save.
Oh, that Reaper.
Reaper's Scythe though straight down onto the prime target. Takes Shiro out of the action. As this fight now, not an easy one for PSG.LGD to continue to stick around with. They've lost 2 of their heroes, one being the carry with Shiro trying to get involved, but GPK, he was having none of that.
I think Pure got a lot of those Ancients too. I think he was hammering the Ancients.
They go for more.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Beyond the tower, straight in, the setups there from Pure. as they take out Neo, and they can start putting pressure onto this tier 2.
This 5-man is not a 5-man you are fighting into if you're LGD, and we saw it there. That's a high ground tombstone that lives the entire fight. Pierre's like, I'll take your life, I'll take your ancients. I guess the zombies clear a little bit of it out, but this is Shiro trying to get involved and instantly punished. He just doesn't have enough illusions up. The zombies, they're doing a little bit. NTS has a shield rune, and still, you're getting nothing out of this exchange except save. Not happy about that one, but he'll bite the bullet for the overall team good here.
Yeah.
And now you're up to 7K.
Big risk to take, turning up as the PL, but clearly, you know, these risks have to be taken when you're in this sort of spot. 15 minutes in, down 7K as a team. PSG.LGD know that they're going to have to take some drastic action to find some sort of chance of breaking back into this game 1.
I think that is a fight Shiro should go to, but he also has to be coming in a little later or on a better target. I think going in that deep when the Rubik's already been picked off just did not end up putting him in a favorable position. I think if he sees GPK commit to the fight, you burn some mana, that's a much easier opening. I think PL Ags is probably LGD's best timing to start swinging these fights around, because then you can just play the poke game, you can play on the outskirts, you can throw out the Ags, Lances, now all of a sudden you're burning double the mana, you're dealing some serious damage, and then all of a sudden the war of attrition can start to add up on top of the tombstone of the birds. But that's a lot to farm to here for Shiro. Is that Ags is a dream. A dream after Yasha, which he doesn't even have.
Regeneration. GPK, just a talisman away from having that Radiance Manta style done on Nightfall. And that next time's going to be sped up even more. Some more kills to be involved in. Pure setting up onto YU Smile. As Betboom, they head back towards this bottom lane. They're ready to see if they can maybe catch Nothing to Say. Telekinesis there to set up. Got the Sleight of Fist and the Remnant prepared at the side. So we'll manage to jump away. He's got to stick around, grab some of the Lotuses. Toronto Tokyo still got eyes on him. Chains are there though. Nothing to Say. Still an extra Remnant to play with, as they won't continue to spend any further time hunting for him. He'll get out.
He needs to stay aggressive on the map, and he's going to have to keep doing that for a long time at this rate, but he cannot take the safe farm away from his Phantom Lancer, and he also has to force reactions out of Betboom so he creates space and they don't fall behind a net worth lead. Of difficult position for NTS to be in, but we have seen him excel at it before, and at least you got a tier 1 out of this. So in theory, you can start to get into that Radiant jungle, take away some farm, trade out the net worth a bit more evenly, but the vision is punishing you very hard right now, as LGD do not have a lot of space to operate, and those Radiant Observers are seeing pretty much everything right now.
On top lane, they're going to look for the dive, see if they have enough damage and control to take him out.
There's a Ravage.
I'm going to hold back on using it. A high chance even with the Ravage stun wouldn't be quite enough lockdown to kill off Nothing to Say. They don't need to take these risks right now with the lead that Betboom have. No need to throw these ults out for these single kills. They know they're in a comfortable spot.
And they much rather take these fights where LGD are forced into them. Like, this is aggressive positioning. It is going to get immediately punished by Betboom. I mean, you cannot push a tower right now that casually, especially versus the Spear Breaker, who can guarantee the vision. TP1 hero, you're just stuck in a bad engagement. NTS try and make it up on the other end.
Nice save. Get caught by the chains, but stolen chains used in turn to hold back Nothing to Say.
That just feels bad.
They can't quite kill him. Save. He's able to walk off. As PSG.LGD don't want to jump up into the high ground. At bottom lane, Shiro, he's been found by Toronto Tokyo. Knight for the bash is there. Whoa. As Shiro out again. Top lane, Pure this time round. He'll use the setup. The follow-ups there from GPK with the scythe. Both the mid and the carry eliminated once again.
On top of that, Rubik living, as you said, truly.
And he's back in.
Now the mini Undying.
Turns into the Undying zombie himself. The kills just continue to roll in here for Betboom.
Yeah, there's just no room to operate. I mean, the second your NTS Ember's off the map, everything is going to collapse here for LGD. It's just a feeding frenzy for Toronto Tokyo. Nothing is stopping this Spear Breaker right now.
It's looking rough. Neo. Very little chances of escape here.
I mean, look who's waiting behind. A little Necrophos to get some extra Heartstopper region, or at least attempt to. That Radiance was finished by GPK. That is an incredibly fast Atos Radiance here. You do not have the auras up. You do not have the 5-on-5. It is definitely going to be split push action now for LGD. It's just a matter of can you do it without getting caught, because so far, you've not been able to get much off the map. This lead has doubled in the last 3 minutes. And Pure's got a pipe on top of everything.
Finding the damage to cut through this lineup. It's going to be very, very difficult for PSG.LGD. I mean, where does sort of their best bet lie? Is it going to be around looking at these tier 2 defenses, trying to set up for those, or have they just got to continue to sort of play this kind of 4-man, move around the map while Shiro struggles to get these core items, and then just look to try and turn things at the high ground?
You need an aura on you. You need probably one more items on Shiro here, which means NTS is split pushing. You're just splitting the map as much as possible. You can afford a couple pickoffs, but then at some point, yeah, you want to take that defensive fight around a tier 2. Maybe the Roshan, if you think you can get good enough vision, but honestly, that seems impossible here. I think you're playing for high ground defense almost. Like, you got a bait and overextension by Betboom, basically, where they go in with a bad Ravage where the damage doesn't line up, and then you can punish everybody else. Because I don't think you're taking down Pure at any point in this game in the near future. It's got to be the Rubik, the Spear Breaker, and maybe the Morphling if you land a Clutch Silence. Which means you need Betboom to jump hard and be in a position where they just messed up.
I mean, is there a specific tier 2 that, from what you've been seeing on this patch, tends to be the more appealing one to defend? You know, the one that pro teams do put more effort into trying to hold?
I'd say they're pretty even. I mean, maybe the tier 2 safe lane. I think that tends to be one people like because you can get in these trees on the upper side. You can get a high ground cliff ward, and then you see around the flank. But that's also like going into a high ground into your own dire jungle, which could be awkward for LGD here. Honestly, it's any fight where they can get a high ground tombstone. It's probably what's going to feel the best. So wherever they feel like they can accomplish that, I am all for it. These tombstones are going to melt if they are not displaced somehow. And look, a little cheeky Roche force, but
they're going to try for this, but Betboom,
Nightfall knows.
They're very aware. And they do have the ults at the ready already. Toronto Tokyo, Nightfall starting to try and push them out of the pit. Backups coming in. PSG.LGD, they've got to get out of here. Planet won't have the luxury as he gets blown up in the pit. They've got the catch onto YU Smile as both supports will fall. And it looks like maybe not all the cores will get out. They're looking towards Neo. We managed to use the familiars to hold back both GPK and Pure. Get a little bit of a flash of vision there with a Meteor Hammer, but Neo, he's going after the TV, but a great charge across the map for Toronto Tokyo. Clips him at the edge of the charge. Sets up for GPK to take him out with a Reaper's Scythe. That was instant awareness there for Toronto Tokyo with that play. He was ready to go, ready for the drive-by.
I'd phrase it as luck, but maybe it was instant awareness.
That was
I don't think he saw him, dude.
Dude, he did.
There's no way. You're giving him way too much credit.
Dude, this guy's a TI winner. What do you mean?
I know he's a TI winner.
He was ready.
Yeah, but even he said the best strategy at TI is a little luck.
I guess.
It's still working out for him here as he will collect one of the kills, but not the other. And barely walk out.
Now that one's luck. He lives on minuscule HP. Toronto Tokyo gets away. Nothing to say. Not even able to stick around and finish him off.
That was a weird Roche attempt by LGD. I mean, I kind of get it. They weren't committing the PL or the Ember. I feel like this is one of those things where like, oh, they're not going to think we're doing it because we're showing 2 cores on the map and maybe we'll get away with it. But Betboom read it pretty well, get the punish, and get that Roshan. It was probably theirs no matter what. At least you're not losing too many cores, but you're telling me this is skill?
They know he's in the trees.
There's no way they see him.
Toronto Tokyo's like, right, he's going for a TP. I'm going to stand in position and immediately charge. Maybe I'll pass by him and
actually,
cancel
yeah,
TP.
maybe that actually looked.
He did have a smile, but I think that was
that's more evidence to me.
I think that was more of a I'm pretty good at this game smile. You know, he was like, dude, I'm good. You know, he knew there. Good stuff from Toronto Tokyo. Gets him another kill, keeps this lead, continuing to blow up to incredible proportions. Here, 17k lead now for Betboom.
Yeah,
23 minutes in.
This is getting very insurmountable. I mean, maybe skill and luck are 2 sides of the same coin. You know,
true.
That's Dota too, right? Who's to say that the pros are actually good? Maybe they're just the luckiest.
Maybe.
Oh, a little birdie.
Oh, that's nice.
It is nice. I don't know what the relevance is, but
He's managed to sort of master the art of standing on something whilst not actually touching it.
it's true.
This bird's hovering without even moving his wings.
What do you think about levitation?
It's one of these government birds you've got to watch out for.
Oh, you think it's a fake one? It's hard to tell these days. How do you spot a fake bird from a real one?
Oh, you don't. They spot you. Anyway.
They're just kind of scaring me right now.
See what they can do around this mid lane. Pure, level 15.
He's got those tendrils online too. Looking for even more lockdown with what I assume is a Hex here. And Heart done for GPK. Good luck getting the damage through this man.
He's massive. Yet to die this game, of course, 5-0-5.
Yeah, when GPK has 0 deaths, you know you're in trouble. That is not a good sign for you. They're going to charge through on Shiro. Does finish the Ags.
They get the setup.
Will you get to use it?
They got the tendrils. They're keeping him locked down. The Reaper Scythe's there. And Shiro out for 50. Another kill for GPK. Getting those stacks up. as they're going to be ready to push towards the high ground pretty shortly. Here, Betboom.
This game just collapsed so fast for LGD. It's like the first 5 minutes. These lane matchups went way too bad for the lineup to take any sort of recovery fight, and they're still trying to look for anything on this map. I mean, 5 kills for a team that has been pretty dominant in the mid game. This is just a straight outclass right here. That Ember pick getting massively exposed. As GPK puts on a Necro Clinic, the pipe will finally be finished for New. That is a big piece of the puzzle here, but this is very late. As Betboom are immediately punishing your base.
Yep, no reason to go anywhere. With the Ravage still at the ready. Betboom more than happy to take any sort of fight that PSG.LGD throw themselves into. The racks, they're going. So is Planet. Dive forward here with the waveform. And now, even though that they have Shiro back up, they don't have the full lineup.
You can start the poke here, throw the slights and throw the lances and drain some mana.
That's decent damage to Nightfall, but he's still got the Aegis to rely on. Jump forward, they're looking for the Undying, they've got him. GPK with a double.
Even the hammer landing.
They're going
here.
for more.
Ooh,
they push forward. They're surrounding New and Shiro. There's the Ravage catching the two of them. Shiro's got New as well. They're running out of buybacks. They're running out of everything. GG is called. Betboom come in incredibly explosive here in this game one. 26-6, 27k lead, 25 minutes in. This is Betboom.
Want to dominate the gaming world? Join the ranks of dedicated gamers. Subscribe and conquer.